This is a very important video, as you'll see, because when it comes to prepping and preparedness, we can look at long-term disasters and having things like rice and beans and canned meat, etc. And that's good. You should have lots of that. But for small disasters, or at least at the very beginning of crap hits the fan, you don't really have a lot of time sometimes to prepare the rice and beans and soak it and heat it and everything else. So having very quick, ready-to-eat meals is the key, especially in small disasters, or maybe you're in an apartment in the city and you don't have a lot of extra room. I'm going to go through 7 ready-to-eat meals. And I'm not talking about the military MREs, which are very expensive. No, we're talking about ones that you can pick up right now from Walmart or any of your grocery stores that are inexpensive and so easy to prepare. Let's jump right into it. We'll just go to the Walmart website so we can look at it here, but obviously any grocery store. First, I'm going to start off with beef stew. And Dinty Moore has had beef stew going for practically decades. I remember even as a kid. It's very tasty, very shelf stable. These cans will last practically indefinitely. Fantastic. And I'll tell you right now, when it comes to disasters and emergencies where crap hits the fan, you need to have some normalcy, some real food you can eat. And again, this is not homemade food. This is not the same, but it is very quick and can you actually give you something that's very tasty, get your energy up, but even more importantly, get your morale up without actually having to prepare a meal. Perfect, very quick meal you can have, then get back to business. So beef stew is the perfect one. And obviously there's all kinds of different types of brand names when it comes to the beef stews. Pick your favorite. Again, for me personally, I like the Dinty Moores. Number 2, chili. Chili's fantastic. Of course, we have it with beans or without the beans. All kinds of different flavors. The wolf chili I actually enjoy. And of course, here's the packets, but we're looking at more like the canned chilies like Hormel. Fantastic stuff. And for me and my family, this is like a number one go-to when we go camping. We love to have chili when we camp, and we always make our own. But same thing, hit a disaster, you don't have to make your own. You have the can right there, and you don't have to worry about a microwave or anything. You can eat it right out of the can. Cold may not be the tastiest. And by the way, you can warm things in a can. Don't heat it. You'll get it hot. You can heat it, but don't make it so it's so hot it actually starts breaking down the can. But warming food in a can will work. Just don't put a lot of extra heat onto it. Right out of the can, good to go. And number 3, this is certainly its own category, soups. I could sit here probably all day and look at the different soups that you can find just on the Walmart website. I honestly don't think the ramen's the best. I'm not saying it's not delicious, it is. But when you see soups, these are very quick and easy to simply just heat up and off you go. Creamy chicken and dumplings, loaded baked potato, all kinds of different flavors, steak and potato. And you can pick out yours. They'll last indefinitely in the cans. The pull-top cans, by the way, people always caution against those. And there should be a caution there. As long as nothing's pressing on the can, that pull top will actually last just fine. It's fine too. So as long as you get the can and suddenly the pull top is like already loose a little bit, that's a problem. So you do have to treat them more gently because they are a little bit more fragile. But you can find soups that don't have the pull tops, and most of them are going to that as it is. But my kids love these pink ones. I've never had one before. How about you? But all kinds of different soups, different options, and we'll make it so on these days you'll give you some normalcy and make it so you're not so stressed. How about some chicken broccoli cheese with potato? That sounds good. And I have to admit, I've never had number 4, tamales, beef in chili sauce. Have you guys had these? Put in the comments below if they're any good. These hot tamales could probably sub for it. Just kidding, obviously. But there's lots of different types of brands for tamales as well. And obviously, since there is different brands, they must be somewhat popular. So have you had these tamales? But again, same thing. It's a meal in a can for emergencies. Number 5, chicken and dumplings. Again, a whole meal in a can. This is Sweet Sue. I've never had this before. But we have Swanson. If we scroll down more, let's see, Progresso. So lots of different types of chicken and dumplings. I've never had these. Maybe you could put in the comments below if you like these as well. But from what I hear, it's a great, look, it says made from scratch, a great meal in a can for emergencies. And if we're talking about meals in a can, I have to include Chef Boyardee. I am certainly not saying it's the most nutritious, and I'm certainly not saying as an adult it's the most delicious, but obviously lots of different options when it comes to this. Kids love these things, so maybe you could have a can of this for your kids, and you can have that can of chili, but it gives some normalcy to the kids. Obviously the microwave ones are probably not best for disasters, but the cans are. Maybe your kids love the beef ravioli. I know some of my kids love this stuff. We actually get Joe's O's from Trader Joe's. You ever had those before? Basically, it's a healthier version, a more organic version of the Chef Boyardee stuff. What do? Do you have kids who like this kind of stuff? And do you have alternates like the Joe's O's? And finally, if you know me, you knew this was coming, corned beef hash. I love corned beef hash. And granted, they have eggs on it, but in itself, honestly, having it nice and crispy makes it taste much better. And there's lots of varieties of the different corned beef hash, and having eggs with it's great. But by itself, it'll work just fine. It'll get the job done and make it so you feel nice and full after a tasty meal. And they are tasty too. Do you like the corned beef hash? Or let me ask you this. What canned food do you use as a ready-to-eat meal? And obviously, we have so many different cans of things like chicken and tuna and roast beef. And the list goes on and on. But when we talk about an actual meal in a can, these 7 items are perfect. I'm sure there's something you could add to the list too. Put it in the comments below. Anyways, we want to have things, have your long-term stuff, your rice and beans, have canned meats, other things, sardines. But sometimes you just need some of these meals in a can to make life easier for a quick normalcy during a disaster. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time.